I think you said after the game the other night, 18 available players potentially. Is that the number you're going to be working with? Is there any change on that front?
I'll let you know when we get the results of Ben Woods' scan. There could be a bit of change. I think Sean Wally might be available, and I think Endo's going to train today, so better news.
How much pressure does it put on those that come back in to hit the ground running straight away? Because people will hear this and think, oh, Sean Wally's going to come back.
Yeah, everything's solved. It's difficult coming into any team that's just lost 2 games. It's difficult to do interviews and speak about injuries and speak about results and that, because you just always sound as though you're a moaner. And I've got to stop moaning, to be honest, because you can get carried away, you can get that up, particularly straight after games as well. And you can get that up and then you look back at things and you see things in a different light. I think everyone wants to make an excuse for... Well, everyone wants to blame someone for something, or something, as they saying, the youngsters say in Liverpool. And sometimes in a football match, the opposition is just better than you. And is that a crime? Have you got a divine right to be better than every team that you play? You've got a divine right to try and be as better than, or fans should expect you to try and be better than every team you play. I think that should be the minimum. So that should be reflected in your effort. But the sad truth is that you're not going to be better than every team you play. And that's why you're one of the reasons why you lose a lot of games. Or you lose games. And that's no slight on our team, because our team have doing wonders, being able to stay in games for so long that they have done. When was the last time we got beat by 2 goals? I'm sure you could tell me. But it wouldn't be for a while, would it?
No.
Last time we lost by 2 goals. And the fact that in late February now, it's probably our last game in February, will it be? Yeah. We're still in a positive goal difference. No, that's not to say that you can't. Wrexham can't put 7 past us because they've put it past other teams in the past. But what I'm saying is that shows you how hard the lads are working to try and protect our goal. We'd like to score more goals, so we'd like to have a bigger goal difference ourselves. But it's not all doom and gloom, and you have to just take it that on the face value that we're working hard. The players are working extremely hard. They're performing way above my expectations, and I've got high expectations of them all. I think Seamus alluded to that about the standards that we expected them, and it gives them a belief to try and meet them standards. But the way we've adapted to so many changes in personnel, I can only take my hat off them and applaud them and thank them for their efforts. And I'd love to have more wins to please our fans who travel to watch us and come here and support us through thick and thin. I'd love to have more wins for them and for myself and for our team. And we'll be trying to get as many wins as we can between now and the end of the season.
There's inevitably frustration when you're not winning games. There's inevitably frustration at decisions that go against you. I know you were pretty unhappy with the way the game panned out the other night. Are the players getting frustrated? I looked at the fair play table, and you've got the most yellow cards in the division, the most disciplinary points in the division. Is there a correlation between those things, that players get frustrated and end up getting themselves booked?
Possibly. I think we've I speak to Mike Jones quite regularly, the head of the referees, and he's had a loss to when he's seen some of the bookings that I've showed him. And we've got to stop being victims. I've got to stop complaining about it, to be honest, because it doesn't translate well to the players. The players feed off my energy, and so I've got to stop complaining about it and just get on with it and make sure the players get on with it. I think we've been a little bit naive. We've been quite unlucky at times with yellow cards and sending-offs. But again, it's like injuries, the part and parcel of the game. And the thresholds that we're given this season, you're going to get more bookings anyway. Which, you know, I spoke about earlier on the season. I think that's why the threshold should have been moved for the bands. Because no one really wants to see. You want to see players missing games because they've done something, you know, unacceptable on the pitch, i.e. a really violent tackle or punching someone, or, you know, a number of other things that you can do. But for topping up for just innocuous fouls, players shouldn't be missing games. And spoiling the enjoyment for the fans who paid their hard-earned money to watch them.
Is it even harder when you're short of numbers to deal with suspensions? And even within games, if someone gets a yellow card, that makes it even more difficult for them individually?
Well, it has, you know, I've lost count of the amount of times we've had 2 or 3 defenders booked in the first half, and then they're walking on eggshells. It's not just happening to us, you know. You've seen the cup finals Sunday, and the anomalies with the bookings there. And it happens to everyone, so we have to just accept it. There's no point moaning about it, because nothing gets done if you moan. And all you do is you upset you and you upset other people. So you're better off focusing on the positives and things that you can affect. And certainly referees giving fouls is one that I can't affect.
Is it hard to keep yourself up?
Well, when you want to be challenging the top end of the table, so you want to be in the automatics or the playoffs, and you feel yourself slipping out of that, and a lot of things are conspired against you, you can feel a little bit low. But then you come into work and you're working with lads who give you everything they've got and try and take things on board, so that immediately inflates you. And I've always tried to be positive, and I still feel as though I'm blessed to be doing a job that I love, that I've dreamt about all my life. I wasn't fortunate enough to be a professional footballer, but you know, I had a really enjoyable non-league career, and met some unbelievable people. And then the next best thing was to become a professional football manager, and I don't get blasé about it. The novelty hasn't wore off. And I think, well, we've been full-time now for what, 20 odd years. So the novelty won't wear off, because it's something that I thoroughly enjoy, and I think I transmit how much pleasure I get, and my enthusiasm still transmits to the players, that how lucky I feel, and how we keep on reminding them how lucky they are.
We talked about Wrexham being one of the most high-profile games of the season when you played them here. If anything, that'll be probably multiplied going to play them away from home. How important is it that your players play the football team and the 11 that are out there, rather than this story and the attention that gets?
Well, you have to play the football team. You have to play the occasion as well. That's the unfortunate thing. And you know, there was a lot of things got said after our game as well. You know, I think they were on a really good run, and there's a feel-good factor about Wrexham, which is great to see. You know, and you want to see clubs flourishing, and so I've got no envy of that. I want to see lower league teams. I want to see every club flourish. You know, I never took any pleasure with the fact that we were playing Sunderland in the league when everyone was building that up, when we went up and they went down. You know, I want to see. I've always supported the top dog, not the underdog. I've never been. I've said this time and time again before. You know, the Leeds team I loved West Germany. So I've always rooted for the best team, really. And you want these teams to flourish, and they've got an influx of money that they can spend, and have spent it wisely, and got some great players and had some unbelievable success. And so we played them in the middle of that feel-good factor when they were winning quite a lot, and we beat them, and I think they felt slighted that they were beaten by little Accrington Stanley. Now, we've proven throughout the last 12, 15 years that we're no longer little Accrington Stanley. We might be in terms of monetary value and what we can pay and what what things we can have that or we can't have that other teams can have. But we live within our means. We're rich in spirit, and we've proved time and time again that we're not the little club that people think us. We're not. It's not a shock now when we do well. It's not a shock when we beat so-called bigger teams. And I think in the midst of that, we've played them and beat them, and so that'll still be hanging over this game. That'll still be hanging over it with their fans, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but in my opinion, I think that will be hanging over this game, and I think their players will be wanting to win for that reason. And it's difficult for me because I'm an open book about this. I can't want to win any more than I do. So Saturday will be no different.
How do you put an old head on young shoulders of all these young players then, and help them to deal with the occasion in addition to the actual football?
Got to talk to them. You got to remind them of the responsibilities, the roles and responsibilities on the pitch. And some of them have already got old heads on young shoulders. I know he's not playing on Saturday, and you could argue that he did a silly thing to get sent off. But Brad Hills, the way he plays, belies his years. You wouldn't think he was 19. And Connor, you wouldn't think he was so young, the way the responsibility he's taken. You'd interviewed young Ange the other day. You wouldn't think he was 16, would you? So, was he 17?
Not 17 till June.
So you wouldn't think that. So they're already proving that they can handle things, and let's hope that they can handle Wrexham on Saturday.